What's going on today? It's your host, Zach Schumaker, and today I'm being joined by the fifth commit in Alabama's now number 3 ranked 2022 recruiting class. He's a 6'6 shooting guard coming out of Richardson, Texas, who's heading now into his 4th season at Richardson High. He also is coming off another very successful AAU season playing with Team Trae Young on the 3SSB circuit. He's a 4-star recruit, top 60 ranked player, and is now the 24th highest ranked commit in Alabama history. And that's Rylan Griffen. You've come to a decision now. You had a top 10. You're now announced that you're going to Alabama. Take us through just what's going through your mind right now.
It's just crazy because, even when I was a little kid, I never dreamed about playing for Alabama. But, I got to do what's best for me, and they were the best fit for me, by far.
Now, when you talk about, growing up, like you said, Alabama wasn't your dream school. So what was your dream school? What was the school you dreamed of playing at growing up, or maybe even the school you just loved watching growing up?
I wouldn't say I had a dream school. I didn't really watch college like that. So, it was just more – it wasn't Alabama. I'll just say that. It was more – I grew up in the Big 12 area, so I would say more Big 12 schools. But, Alabama, they were a perfect fit. So, I couldn't really pass that up.
Well, let's get through this process because you had a top 10 and you had a lot of schools obviously in that mix for you. Alabama was obviously in there, but K-State, Cal, NC State, Georgia, Kansas, ASU, Auburn, Oklahoma State. Take us to those 10 schools. Why were those the ones that stood out to you? Why are those the programs that you said, I could possibly see myself going to these programs?
Just how much time the coaches have spent talking to me and recruiting me, and then fit mattered to me. So that's really what I was just looking for, and where I could get better. I feel like I could have got better at any one of those schools. So yeah, that's kind of why they was in the top 10.
You and your 2022 class has gone through it differently than pretty much hopefully any other class ever has to do again, in terms of the majority of it being all done virtually through different Zoom calls and stuff. And you guys finally got the past few months to do some visits. But what was the most complicated or maybe the hardest part of this process for you?
Just trust really, because I'd always heard from people that I used to talk to, or that not used to talk to, but people that gone through it before, that people lie and this type of stuff. So I really had to sit down and trust what people were saying. Some people, of course, there were some lies thrown in there, but I really the ones that I was really considering heavy. I knew they wasn't lying to me. So that was a big thing for me, just trust. And then getting down to campus, because some of these campuses look different than what you think it looks like, and sometimes you just don't feel like you belong at that certain campus. So that was big for me too. And then just the relationship with the coaches.
So you got to go on this to Kansas State, NC State, Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma State throughout your career. So what was this like? You get to go on campus. You do get to see those programs. Just what was getting to experience that opportunity?
They were all great. You feel like a king going down there because, they treat you so good. They feed you well and all that. But, it kind of started to get repetitive after a while. But I wasn't going down there to have a good time. And then I was going down there to see if I fit here as a basketball player and as a person too. I got to see, knowing me, myself, do I really want to spend 4 years here? So that's what I was really factoring in as well. It wasn't just having a good time eating. It was more, it was more the meeting with the head coach and watching film, and then just seeing if I really wanted to be in that town for that long.
So we know the program that won you over. It was your final visit as well, and that was Alabama. So take us to that. Obviously, they had to win you over in some way, shape, or form during that visit or sometime during that process. So what was it about that? The time you get on campus, the time you leave, how'd they win you over?
Going in, it was still wide open. Everything was wide open. And leaving, it was open, but, they had kind of took the lead. So just Coach Hodgson, that's my guy. So we spent a lot of time with him. He was keeping it real with me down there. I just hanging out with him that was the best part of the visit. Really, he real funny and real chill. And, he's just laid. I wouldn't say laid back, but he's just like, he's a really cool dude. And then Coach Oats, he the same way. So like, it's like they your homeboys, but they're not. So like when they get on to you in the game, you don't take it as personal because off the court you had that great relationship. And then what really factored in with me was Coach Oats. In my meeting with him before I left, he was like, as much as I would want you to commit right now or commit soon, I'm not gonna. I know what it's like to feel rushed and pressured. So just take your time, and whenever you have your decision, call me. And some other coaches like they kind of like I wouldn't say negative recruited Alabama, but they didn't really talk highly on them. So but it was just that really because he was like he told me to take my time, and when I got here, I was like it just felt like home.
Now, I know you're also a believer, and we're going to get more into that throughout this interview, more towards the end of it. But I know that both Coach Hodgson and obviously Coach Oats are believers as well. They have strong faith. So did you discuss that with them at any point? Have you guys brought up your faith? Have you guys got to talk about that at all throughout this process?
Yeah, that was actually huge. They had a team chaplain. So not everybody I went to had a chaplain that I know, or at least that they brought up. So that was huge, really. That was also like a sign that that's where I need to be. Cause like, they go in there. I watched them play a game. They went in there before the game and did all that. So, and the chaplain was really cool. So, that was huge. So they believe and then I believe. So like, it was huge.
When you do look at this, I mean, obviously your goal is ultimately the NBA. So rather that takes you 1 year up all the way up to 4 years, whatever guys got in store, obviously. But throughout that time, just to have two guys for sure, obviously in your life, your head coach and one of the assistant coaches that you're super close to, be a strong believer and kind of have that father figure role in a sense, but also kind of be a spiritual leader in your life too. How big will that be for you throughout your career there?
That'll be huge. Like, when you get down there, you see why not many people want to leave Coach Oats and them. So, that would be huge. He's real cool. He believes in that stuff. He makes it optional to go to the chaplain, but everybody goes because, like, everybody knows, like, everybody knows. So, like, Coach Oats, that was also a part, like, no other coach really talked to me about stuff like that except for him. So that was huge.
So when you talk about how far this relationship has come, obviously I think they've been recruiting you for a little bit now. So how have you seen your bond grow, Coach Oats, Coach Hodgson, and the rest of the coaching staff, like over the past 4, 5, 6, 7 months, maybe in a year now? Like, just take us through how your bond has grown over time.
Yeah, so Coach Hodgson, we were playing the Alabama team, and he watched us play. And then after that, he told me that he was going to write my name down. So he did. And then later, they started calling me and hitting me up, but they hadn't seen me play in person. So they watched film, of course. So they offered me it in. But then, like, a couple months later, we played in Dallas. Like, it was the first event coaches could come out to. So they came out, him and I think Coach Oats and 2 other coaches, they watched me. And then after that, they told me I was a perfect fit. It was like, we need you here. Like, we got to have you here. We probably are losing a couple people. Like, we need you to come in and fill in a big role. So after that, really, they turned it up a notch after really seeing me play in person.
So when did you know that Alabama is where you want to play your college career out at? Obviously, you went on visit. You said they were kind of a little bit in front of the pack now, but they didn't completely sell you 100% when you left the visit. So at what point did you say, okay, I want to go to Alabama. This is the fit. This is where I want to play my college basketball at?
I was just playing the game, and I was thinking like what do I want to do? What do I want to do like in college? What I want to do after college? And then I thought about it. I thought about all the other schools, and I'm like, Alabama has this. They got a little bit more than these other schools. So why not go there? So then actually right after that, I called Coach Oats and told him. Then I called Coach Hodgson. They were real happy. Like, they were really, really happy. So, that also made me feel good knowing how happy they were. So, yeah.
When you're saying a game, you're talking video games, or you're talking about actually a basketball game you kind of thought through the whole process?
No. I was on MADDEN. I was just thinking. I don't know what I was thinking about, but it happened, and that's how it went down, really.
So did your family find out first, or did they find out first?
I told my dad, of course. I called him and told him, like, I'm about to call Coach Roach and tell him that I'm coming. And then he was just like, all right, yeah, go ahead. Like, you can't really go wrong with that decision. I support you. So that's all he was really saying. But he didn't, like, I think he felt like that's where I was gonna go because he said it was up to me always. He never told me he was gonna tell me where to go. So, but I could just tell he felt like that's what I was gonna choose.
And when you do go out there and call Coach Oats, I know you talk about how happy they were, but how did you kind of set that up? Like you just called them right at the gate and you said, "Hey, Coach, I'm committing there." You just talked for a little bit beforehand. Like, just take us through how you told them.
Nah, so that he's a Packers fan. So I called him right in the middle of the Packers game, Thursday Night Football. And he was like, my Packers about to get a dub. And he like, we just got you. Like, today's a great night. And then he was all, yeah, he was just happy. So I called him out of nowhere, really. But I had told him like I would let him know within the week or the weekend. And so I just called him out. But I just called him out of nowhere, really. And I called Coach Hodgson, and he was real happy.
I have to get to Coach Hodgson's relationship with you a little bit more because he obviously, I think, is one of the most underrated assistant coaches in the country. I mean, the track record he has in terms of finding underrated prospects, now at Alabama to bring in the top prospects. Like, how does he help win you guys over? And just what's he like as an assistant coach? Like, just take us through him and your guys' recruiting process with him.
Yeah, he definitely underrated. I think he deserved to be in that conversation, like with the top recruiters, because you can really bond with him. Like, you see why you want to play there, really, because he's down there. You know, the relationship. It just like I said, the relationship with him. He just knows how to talk to people. You know, he talked to me every day, really. If not every day, he talked to me at least 3 times a week throughout this whole thing, just checking in. Really, he wasn't even like pressuring me or anything like that. So after that, you kind of realize, like, even when he gets on to you in the game or something, you're not gonna get mad because you know he'll tell you straight up, like, I'm doing this to make you better. I'm doing this because I think you could be this good. So you don't get mad whenever he does anything, or even if he talks to you crazy, you don't even get mad because you know he's doing it because he believes in you and he trusts you and he thinks you have crazy potential that he's trying to help you fulfill.
Now, this has been a common thread in terms of guys recruiting and committing now to Alabama the past 3 or 4 weeks now. So kind of walk us through this whole transition of this class, because for a long time there, obviously there's kind of a quiet-ish rivalry now forming between Alabama, Arkansas, we know Auburn, and obviously Kentucky has always been that mix in terms of recruiting, bringing in the top classes. So kind of walk us through all this. They were quiet for a little bit, and then all of a sudden everything came on, and you get Jaden to start this whole class off. Then you get the single day commitment with 2 guys in terms of Brandon Noah go out there. And then we just see today the top JUCO player, Nick Pringle, comes out now, and now yourself on top of this the following week. So walk us through this whole recruiting class. Like, how excited are you for this, and how appealing was that aspect for you?
Yeah, like, I had seen some people talking about Coach Oats don't got it no more. And I was like, nah, like, don't ever doubt Coach Oats, really. So, but Jaden, you know, he committed first, and he started testing me, like, right off rip. He tried to get me to go there. Then everybody else committed. They started texting me, trying to get me to go there. So really, like, it was just that separated them from other schools, because other schools didn't really do that. You know, they had some commits, but they didn't really do that. So that really separated. That showed me that I was wanted there. And but like the rivalry with all these other schools, like, I like it. I can't wait to like play against these schools because, you know, they're good teams, they're good programs, they're good recruiters over there. But, you know, we feel like we got the best class in the country, really.
And obviously, we're going to get into him a little bit later, but you have a dynamic duo out there in high school you've been with now for a long time in Cason, who I think he probably might be committing before us into releasing. So if he ends up going to an SEC school or whatever school he goes to, but if it is an SEC school, what would it be like just kind of going up against him and potentially even being a rival now against your duo you've been with now for 4 years?
Yeah, if you go to an SEC school, that would be great because we would get to go against each other. Probably we know each other's strengths and weaknesses, so probably like I wouldn't say like make each other look bad, but it would just be fun going against them. Like, you know, you're gonna want to compete, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to beat each other, of course. Like, we do it every day in practice. So, you know, it's really gonna be nothing new except we really are on different teams this time. And you know, the battles with them, with whatever school he goes to, it'll be fun. So just, you know, Cason, he's a great player. Wherever he goes, you know, he'll do great there. So playing against them will be fun.
I've had both you guys on here a couple different times. So we've kind of talked about you guys debatably kind of looking at teaming up throughout this process. So did that ever become something you guys seriously sat down and said, okay, what schools do we have the common? Like, what schools could we possibly go and visit to? Could we team up? Is this a possibility? Like, did you guys ever get deep in that discussion?
Nah, not really, because we didn't just the fits. Some of the fits, some schools I had, he didn't. Some schools he had, I didn't. So like, we didn't want to we weren't gonna risk our fit just to play with each other, because like we know what both of our end goals are. So we're gonna do that first, and then if it had happened to be the same school, that would have been great, of course, but it didn't. But I think we'll be good wherever, really.
Let's get back into this 2022 recruiting class, because you guys are special, and obviously you guys now have a 5-man class. So people can obviously look at it and say you guys could be a lineup together, but we know they're going to have returners. And the way Coach Oats runs that is he usually can run a deep bench, right? That'd be 8, 9, 10 guys. So it really doesn't matter who's going to start. They're all going to get a lot of minutes. We saw JQ won playoff or during the SEC tournament player of the year during that process off the bench. So it really doesn't matter if you start or not. But you 5 together, how special is this 2022 recruiting class?
Oh, I think we're real good. Like I said, they think we're the best in the country, best recruiting class in the country. They truly believe they think they got the best recruiting class in the country. So, of course, I believe that too. And, with the start and stuff, that doesn't matter to me at all, because, it doesn't matter who starts the game, really. Like, to me, starting is just getting your win under you, getting loose. It's not even anything. You could start down 20 and win the game, really. So, and, Coach Oates has told me that too. He didn't say I was going to start or come on. That's another thing I like. He didn't really make any promises, which I like going in and earning stuff. But it was great, because it's great that we have all these people coming here, because, we can make each other better. And that's what I think we're going to do. And, like I said, we feel like we got the best class in the country, really.
So out of all the guys in this team, I know you talk about Jaden. He's been recruiting you now for a while, but how close are you with Noah? Have you talked to him? You have talked to Brandon? Have you got to know Nick at all yet? Like, where does your relationship stand with the other guys in this class?
Yeah, Jaden, we talked a lot. He with my friend Keyonte. So we kind of knew each other through that. Then Noah, he was on a visit with me. So we kind of got to know each other there. But yeah, we all know each other. It's not nothing like best friends or anything, but we know each other. We know we're going to be teammates, and we all like each other's game. So really just getting the chemistry early, really.
So for you guys that were on that visit, did you guys kind of get to know and say, okay, you kind of knew Noah's probably going to be going to Alabama? Did he kind of get to know you were going out there before you obviously announced your commitment?
Nah, he didn't know, but we talked about schools that we liked, and we both at Alabama. It was we talked about 3 schools, and Alabama was in both of them. So that was really, I didn't tell him where I was going. He didn't tell me where he was going. It just happened to be that way. And, I'm excited to be able to play with him. I think he's real good.
And we know that Coach Oates can always go bring in new guys, whether it be through the portal, another recruit possibly, but this is a 5-man class. It's pretty large. So what you know from Coach Oates, are you the final piece in this class, or could there be another guy coming in for 2022, whether it be JUCO, high school? Where does this 2022 class stand now in terms of possibly adding another piece in?
Nah, I think it's just us 5, but, he did tell me, I'm recruiting you here to play early. So that was big for me. That's something I want to do, and I'm going to work hard to do. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to get ready to play early and, get my mindset ready to just come out and kill. But I think it's just going to end up being us 5 for right now, from as far as I know.
I know you and I have talked about rankings a ton before, and obviously it's not that big of a deal, but when you just talk about your name now, you are a 4-star, you're a top 60 player in the country. I think you're top 30, but obviously that's, once again, rankings don't matter too much, but it does push you by being a top 60 player as a top 25 all-time commit now in Alabama history. And there's obviously a lot of great players in that mix. So just knowing that you now put your name in as one of the more prestigious names coming into Alabama, what does that mean to you?
Nothing, because I got to go show that I was one of the top players to come out of Alabama, really, to show you, to be honest with you. So, yeah, but it's all cool. Rankings, they cool, but, I don't really care about them. Coach Oates don't care about them really that much. What he told me, he's we don't care about your ranking. We think you're better than where you're ranked. So Coach Hodgson believes that too. So, it's cool to see, just to see, what type of players are out there for ranking wise. But, the number next to your name don't really mean anything. I know some people that are ranked low that are good, really, really good.
Now, when you talk about what you're going to bring to Alabama, that's what all fans are going to be excited for, waiting for you to eventually get out there. So when you talk about your game, what you're going to bring to this program, both on and off the court, like what can they expect from Rylan Griffen and get out there?
I'm just gonna work hard. I'm gonna try to get the win. That's the main goal, number one. Doesn't matter if I have to score, rebound, defend, pass.
Mm-hmm.
Sit on the bench. Even as long as I got to do it, we got to do to get the win. So, but I think I'm a scorer. So I'm gonna come in. I got to get my shot consistent, really, because they shoot a lot of threes. So I got to be ready to knock down the three. But after seeing them play, like them threes be wide open. So I think I'll be ready to knock down some threes. Then I got to defend. Coach Oats always tells me he feels like I could be one of the best two-way players in the SEC one day. So just listening to that and locking in on being that.
You and I kind of talked about this before. I know Rashad Phillips has talked about this before publicly as well, but you are a guy that kind of is like a pro's pro. Like, you know what you're going to bring to the team. Like, okay, if the opportunity is there for me to go score so many amount of points for the team, be a top 1 or 2 option, you can do that. You'll buy into becoming a defender. You can be a 3-and-D type guy. You can be pretty much whatever it takes for a team to be successful and win. So walk us that mentality. Like, how did you develop that? When did that come to you? And how did you kind of grow into that role?
I just hate losing, really. Whether it's on a video game, whether it's one-on-one or race, anything, I just hate losing. So I'm going to do what I got to do to never lose. And that's what I'm going to try. I'm going to come on, never try to lose ever.
So if you could compare yourself to one player out there, rather be an NBA player or a college player, maybe even a couple different guys you take pieces from, who would that guy be?
When I went to Alabama, they saw Devin Booker in me. They broke down the film. They had some film of me doing what Devin Booker was doing. So that was cool to see. And ever since then, I've really been trying to model my game after him. I've been watching more film on him. And, we do have some similarities.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's get into your story a little bit more so people can get to know you a little bit better. And obviously, you're not from Alabama. You're from Texas, where you've grown up at and create your name for yourself. So what has that been like, just growing up out there in Texas? What's it been like growing up out there?
Texas got some dogs. So really going against them makes you better. So when you travel around the country, you're not playing against Texas kids all the time. So it's kind of easier, really. Every Texas kid, the person with the least amount of hype will go anywhere else and be one of the better players in that state easily. So that's how I feel about Texas. I feel like we got the best basketball state. Some people go, I don't gotta argue with anybody about that. Like, I just feel like we just got the best state for basketball. But yeah, most of us are going outside of Texas, so we really finna show what Texas is about.
And that is something I agree with. I think obviously people always break it down, the different generations. I think California kind of had the past one with obviously Kawhi and Russ and Harden. I think this next era, that when we're talking about the guys, I think kind of Cade is obviously one of the head guys. Marcus Smart's probably like the older guys in that group, and Randall. But we talk about this 2022, 2021, 2020 class. And even down 2023, 2024 and on, like, you guys have so much talent. So especially in that 2022 class. So what's it just been like growing up in that atmosphere? I think you guys have like 13, 14, 15 guys ranked in the top 100. So what's it just being like kind of growing that recruiting class?
It's good because you get to go against somebody every night, really. In school ball, you're going against somebody good every night. You don't know who's on what team. You don't know who's a secret player on a team that could come out and just give you buckets. So that's great. And, the past classes have been good. Tyrese Maxey actually was one of the people who, like, suggested I go to Alabama as well, because he said for me it's somewhere, you get a little bit of freedom on offense. And he said I need to be in a system like that. So, yeah, the past classes have been great. These upcoming classes I think will be great too, though.
That's not something that too many stories and guys talk about. So you guys obviously are pretty close, I can imagine then. How's it been like having guys that have walked your path in terms of going through college, now playing in the NBA? How big has it been for you to kind of have that as a role model in a sense in your life?
Yeah, I had worked out with him, and he was just like, him and his dad were just like, what college is looking at you? And I told him, and he was like, yeah, I like Alabama for you because, they trended upwards. And he was like, I think you could be a good part of what they're trying to do. And the way you play, it just fits them perfectly. He's like, I remember playing them, and, they just was free on offense. They could do whatever they wanted, really. And then so he was like, and then they run what NBA people run, because he's in the NBA now, so he knows what they run. So that's what he was really talking about. So, I had to take that advice too. I wasn't going to just like, I wasn't just going to not take that advice. You know, he's in the NBA, so that was also a big reason why I decided to come.
If you had to pick one guy in 2022 to go up against, like who's been your favorite matchup to go up against throughout the 2022 recruiting class? Like who's your favorite guy to match up against in the state?
I like going against Keyonte because I feel like we bring the best out of each other when we play against each other.
Absolutely. Well, let's kind of get through your high school career because you have had a great career so far. You obviously have one more year left at Richardson. So take us to that. Like, why was that the school originally that you decided to go play for? Like, why was that the high school you said, okay, I want to kind of live up my high school career here?
I knew I was going in with Cason, so I knew I was going to have somebody, you know, same level, another D1 player with me that whole entire ride through there. So we just wanted to go, and, you know, we didn't want to go to no prep school. You know, we're going to play against some this year, but we just wanted to, like, stay for our own city, really, and just play there. You know, he had family come through Richardson. So, you know, he wanted to graduate there as well. So his brother went there, so he wanted to graduate from there. So it was really just, for me too, I just wanted to, like, I didn't really want to go anywhere else. I like coming home to my house and stuff. So going to Richardson, it was a hard decision at first because the coach had left, but, like, then it got easy, you know. Assistant coach told us everything would be fine. So we went there and, you know, we've done good so far, but, like, we haven't done what we wanted to do yet. We've done some great things, but we haven't done what our main goal is.
So if you and Cason just grown up together, did you guys form that bond during middle school? Or like when did you guys first start to get to know each other and become close?
We used to go against each other. We were on rivals teams. My team didn't like his team didn't like mine. So, you know, then we found out we would be teaming up in middle school. So, you know, it was just good because we knew what each other was good at already. So when we got to middle school, it was, like, kind of just easy. Just, like, we didn't have no time. It didn't take no time getting to know each other. So nothing. So it was really, since we were young, really, that we've been going against each other, that we started playing with each other.
So if someone would have came and told you guys back then that you two would eventually become two of the top prospects in the country and be able to choose from pretty much every dream school like a kid's dream of going to, what would you guys' reaction have been together?
It would have been good, but it would have been, you know, like we still got now, the job not finished mentality, you know. You know, there's always something you can get better at. And we both believe that. And, you know, we really like coming in and working hard. So we would have been happy, of course. It would have, like, but we would have believed it, you know, because, you know, we put in a lot of work and time into this. So, you know, we would have thought that it would have paid off by then.
When in your career would you say started clicking for you? You felt like, okay, whenever I'm on that court, I am one of the top players in the country. I feel like I can go out there and be the guy, or at least one of the guys, every single time I step on that court. Like, when did it start clicking for you?
Really, freshman year, after I broke my hand, I came back and, you know, it started getting a little bit easier, more comfortable. So really, since freshman year, after I broke my hand, really.
And as you said, you haven't achieved the ultimate goal or state championship yet, but you have gone through 3 years so far. So take us through your favorite moments. Like, what would you say has been your best memory so far throughout your high school career?
Just it's hard to say because, I mean, we've been doing good. We made history last year. So I think us being the best team in history last year was good. But, you know, this year's team has a chance to also be the best team. We have a chance to pass our own selves up. So that's what we're going to try to do.
You averaged 22 a game last year, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. What's next for you? Like, what can you jump number-wise? Do you plan on having a certain number that you think you can average a year? Like, what do you want to get done in your senior year for you to be able to walk away saying, I finished out my high school career the way I wanted to finish it out?
I want to average a double-double. And I think I'm capable of doing that. You know, it's definitely going to be a want-to mentality, but I think I can do it. And, you know, my coach is going to push me to do it. You know, so I think I can average about – I'm going to try to get double-double, but I think realistically I can average about 8 rebounds, about same amount of points probably. Up the assists probably about 6 now. We got a bunch of shooters now, so I think I could do – just boost everything, not points-wise, but boost the rebounds and assists up this year.
And one of those shooters is your brother now, and he's going to be up and coming. He's the future of that program now in 2024. So You gotta take us through that a little bit. Just seeing him now become a teammate of yours, become a Division I recruit as well. What's it been like just seeing him develop?
It's been good. He's still got a long way to go. He knows it though, so he's been putting in a lot more work. So, I expect to see when I leave, I expect to see him turn out a lot better, really. So, I think he'll match what I expect for him.
Now, when you guys do play one-on-one, I know you're the older brother, so I'm sure you haven't let him beat you yet, but how do those games typically go? Like when you guys do step on a court, play one-on-one, take us to those games.
Sometimes they're intense. Sometimes he's making shots, defending well. So sometimes they're real intense. But I think it makes him better. So that's why I try to play him one-on-one a lot. It makes me better too.
So has he got a win on you yet, or it got close to you yet?
Yeah, he got a couple wins on me. Some shots he's made I didn't know he could make. So he got a couple wins on me.
Now, as you talk about him developing and ultimately becoming an upperclassman eventually, you could possibly still be at Alabama, so you don't know how many years it's going to be, but what would it be like to possibly have him come and join you at Alabama someday?
That would be great. The coaches, he played the best when the Alabama coaches walked in the building. So that would be great. Just for that, play high school together and then college too.
And if it was a situation where he obviously goes somewhere else, which obviously is a high possibility as well, what would you like to match up against him at the college level?
Yeah, it would be fun, but still gonna try to win though. Like you say, no friends on the court or anything like that. So I'm gonna try to win, but then after, we're gonna talk, say what's up, and get where we need to go next.
Well, let's hop into your AAU season. You start off with Drive Nation. You obviously made the move then, Team Trae Young, and you guys had a overall pretty solid year. You guys had a lot of talent on that roster. Take us to that, just what was like being a part of Trae Young's team and what led to that transition for you?
Just the coaches really at Trae Young, Coach Clay, he was a great coach for me, We had a good relationship too when I was playing with him. But Trae Young and his dad, really, they were involved with it a lot. So not just wearing his name on your chest, you actually are representing him because he's involved. He sits on the bench of the game sometimes. His dad comes to the games a lot. So yeah, it was just fun, really, playing for them. That was a great experience.
That's the unique thing. I know there's a ton of players that go out there and sponsor different programs, and we do see some. I think Blake Griffen, when he came, we've seen different times of him being with his squad. Riley Beal, the same thing, and Trae Young really became that as well. So when you truly get to learn from one of the game's best point guards in the NBA today, one of the best players in the NBA today, what was that just like kind of soaking in that knowledge, being around him, just being coached by him in a sense? Just what was that like?
It was great. One play, I had threw I think it was a regular chest pass. Mm-hmm. He told me, he was like, it got there now, but next level, you're going to have to either lob that or bounce past that because they're going to be ready for you to throw that chest pass. So there's stuff like that, just makes you excited, really, that he's, willing to give you that type of knowledge because some people aren't really willing to do that. So just him being a humble person, you see why he has so much success. He comes from a humble family, a great family. So you see why he has so much success on the NBA court.
What would you say is the biggest thing you learned from Trae Young throughout your time with him?
It was definitely to approach every game like it's your last. He said, because sometimes, in the NBA, that might be your last game. You have a bad game, that might be your last game. So, that's what he just said. He said, you don't play hard in the NBA, it could be your last game. So he said, just play every game like it's your last.
And so we talk about that team. You guys played in the 3SSB circuit, and you guys had a lot of great players. Noah, obviously, is a great point guard. Ronta Vanderbilt, same thing with Lee. You guys had Sean, obviously, one of the more underrated players in your class. Jacoby is going to be one of the top. He is one of the top guys in 2023. Probably going to end up being a top 15, top 10 guy, I think. What was this being around that team? Just take us through the ups and downs of the season. Just what was like being a part of the roster?
It was great because we all were close with each other. So, there was no animosity or jealousy or nothing like that on the team. But, it was fun playing with them. They're all great players. I feel like every college that they go into, they got a great player, So, they also made me better though, So just playing with them was great.
Well, for one thing before I let you go, one of which is kind of going back into Alabama stuff a little bit. And we know one of the big things in terms of rule changes in the past year has been Now bring in the NIL aspect to it. So was that any kind of impact in your recruiting process? Like, did you consider that? Was that something that Coach O's talked to you about? Did that interest you at all by any programs? Like, how much or if any did NIL have an impact on recruitment?
NIL didn't really have an impact on where I was gonna go. They talked about it. Every school that I went to talked about it, but it didn't really I wasn't gonna go nowhere just because the NIL was better or something like that, But it was just cool learning about it. They're still not sure about every aspect of it, but they try to tell me what they can. So, but no, it didn't really have. It didn't really. I'm not going there because of NIL, basically.
Now, one thing that I think is one of the more unique pieces, one of the things I think college basketball has missed for so many years now has been the ability to be able to get guys jerseys with the name on the back. And so when you talk about that aspect, everyone can kind of wait to see what number you're going to eventually choose. So is there a number that fans can expect for you? Like, is there a number that you want to rock out with at Alabama?
Yeah, I want to rock number 3. JD got it now, but hopefully he goes to the pros next year. So hopefully I can just represent his number well after he represents it well this upcoming season. They play on Tuesday, so the first game. So, by the time this come out, hopefully he's already done rocked it and did work in it. And then, I'm gonna try to come in next year and do work in it.
Now, early prediction for this team, like you said, obviously it's going to come out after the first game, or right during the game, whatever it's going to be time-wise. But when you talk about this upcoming season, they're going to be already a top 10 team. I think they're top 15 or whatever they are. But how special do you think this team will be in terms of success when it comes time March?
Expect them to play hard. That's one thing they talk about a lot over there. Defense, play hard. And then expect them to hit a lot of threes again this year. They're going to be a great three-point shooting team. So I would say expect them to make a Final Four national championship type game,
Who would you say is your championship prediction? If you put your 2 top teams in the NCAA, who's going to be this year?
I'm putting Alabama against Texas, and I got Alabama winning it by about 15.
Absolutely, man. Well, you also mentioned Coach Oats, you mentioned Coach Hodgson. What's kind of the funniest memory if you have one so far with those 2?
It was definitely when they came down. Well, really, they both came down to Texas, and Coach Hodgson came once, and he was like, I got to get Torchies. We don't have Torchies in Tuscaloosa, so I got to go get Torchies. That was kind of funny to me because it's stuff like that you don't really think about. Like, I'm not going to have anything. There's some restaurants I got here that I'm not going to have there. There's some there that I'm not going to have here. So it's just that type of stuff you don't really think about. Then with Coach Oats, I would just say he's just funny. Like, I can't explain one funny moment. He's just a funny person to be around.
Without a doubt, man. Well, sometimes wrapping up, as you know, is talking about your legacy and your next chapter now. So it's going to be at Alabama. And when that day does come and you end up leaving that program, what do you want to be remembered for what you achieved both on and off the court throughout your career there?
I'm going to be remembered as a hard worker, someone that I had to play to win. I impacted winning so much that we won a lot of games. So I just want to be known as a winner, really. So, I want to win the SEC and the national championship. That would be great. Postseason, SEC, the tournament thing, the regular season, record SEC, then the national championship. That's my goal, at least one season, but trying to get all of them. So I just want to be known as a winner to come out of there.
I mentioned in the beginning, and I want to kind of wrap up discussing your faith. I know you're a believer, so kind of take us to that aspect of you. Like, how has God helped get you to the point that you're at today?
He made things real clear about where I need to go. Mm-hmm. So, you pray about that type of stuff. He made things real clear. And, I don't know, he hasn't steered me wrong yet. So I think I don't think he's going to start now. So I think this will be a good situation for me.
Now, when would you say you kind of form that bond with God? Like, I know even if you grew up in a Christian house, it's kind of brought upon you at an early age, but when would you say you started really forming that personal relationship with God, like one-on-one bond, you truly started trusting him personally? When did that happen for you?
It really started when it had started to grow, but then when I really broke my hand, then came back, and I felt like I was even better than I was before I broke my hand. That's when I knew, because when I broke my hand, I didn't know how good I was going to be after that. But it turned out I was even better. So really after that, I just left everything in his hands from then on.
And your brand's going to continue to grow throughout the rest of your senior season at high school, then throughout college, and then whatever God's got in store for you pro-wise. So how do you want to be able to spread God's word and be his light to the world from here on out?
Yeah, everybody that's successful, that's one thing Trae Young does. He always recognizes God on national TV after a game or, during the game or something like that. So it's clear that when you do stuff like that, you get blessed. So that's all I'm looking at little things like that, Just you got to thank him for every little thing you get because some people don't have it.
And that's a unique piece because I know not all guys are always comfortable with speaking about their faith in public. And we do see more and more guys trying to speak out. And that's something that you've obviously already developed. Like you talk about God, obviously we talk about this, you talk about in other interviews. So what's kind of led you to be bold in your faith? And when did that kind of start for you? Like when did you start feeling comfortable speaking about your faith in public?
It's just I want people to start believing too, really, some people just do it just for a blessing or something, but that's not really me. I just want other people to start believing too, because some things I would have never thought I had, but he brought them to me, and here we are today. I really think he has a good plan for me.
Amen, man. Well, my final thing for you, give Alabama fans your 3 biggest goals they've set for your Alabama career.
National championship, SEC championship, SEC postseason championship, or SEC tournament championship.
Absolutely, man. Congratulations on the big commitment again. I'm excited to see what guy got next for you. I appreciate you taking time to come on today, man.
Thank you.
Of course, you're welcome on, man. God bless.
All right, appreciate you.